person that is really making ridiculous money is Burna Boy.
Mm.
But what I'm trying to say to you on Burna Boy 4 years ago, is Burna Boy didn't make money 4 years ago. He make at least 80 to 100 million. But
80 to
Burna Boy,
$100 million.
of course. Burna Boy is anybody telling you anything about Burna Boy, just tell the person. Burna Boy is the richest. I'm not kidding you.
That means Burna Boy, they make that kind of Drake money.
Burna Boy, Burna Boy didn't make so much money last year and but Burna Boy didn't make money last year at least 70-80 million dollars.
Burna Boy make money past Nigeria with that. I'm not sure say Nigeria as a country makes $70 million.
No, but Burna Boy another level. Burna Boy is in another level. Anybody telling you all this nonsense because they are not even talking. Burna Boy and the good about Burna Boy is he have a small unit of people, her mama, her sister, and the mama brother, and they are not up to 8. Any other person is a consultant or a contractor. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Burna Boy makes so much money.
Ojogu.
The highest money Burna Boy make but 4 years ago is another level. 3 years ago is another level. But last year he is coming. He can see that what he make last 2 years and last 3 years or 4 years to what he's making now is completely. He knows as well he's not making the way he make money 4 years ago.
Now, Rema, for instance, we heard the story that he was paid a huge amount to attend the Ambani wedding or perform at the Ambani wedding. Do you think Rema can still continue to rise financially and with his craft, or do you think he has reached his peak?
No, Rema is another level. He's a Gen Z guy. Is our major key for African. The way they see Rema is the way they see all these American artists as well. But the problem about Rema at the moment is overplay. I still believe I don't know. I'm just saying from my experience, he overpriced himself. The kind of money, because you cannot be telling somebody, okay, I will charge you $250,000 today, and the following 3 days you tell the person to pay 500,000, 600,000, 800,000.
That is Paulo talking about Burna Boy making over $100 million in a year. That is an interesting one. I think Burna Boy is the biggest earner in terms of Afrobeat in Africa right now. That is something I believe about the story of Burna Boy. But another question we need to ask ourselves is he earning that money as Burna Boy, or is earning that money for his record label, his partnership deals, and management? That is the question you need to ask yourself, because sometimes a lot of people look at earnings to really rate an artist, but the amount the artist keeps for himself, that is what you need to look at in this kind of whole story. That is something I got to understand about that. The question many people are really asking: is Burna Boy earning money into his pocket or earning it into the pockets of the deals he signed? That is the question they're asking, because you need to actually understand that he has sampled more than any other Nigerian artist, and that is really of an impact to an extent, because he needs to pay kind of royalties to a lot of people he sampled their works. He needs to pay for the partnership deals he has with a lot of people. These music executives, most of them are greedy to an extent. So it depends on the contract that Burna Boy signed. That is what we need to be looking at a time like this and get to understand it from the bigger picture. Based on his earnings, you cannot say Burna Boy is the richest artist, but the amount of money he keeps to himself determines the richest artist. Right now, a lot of people are looking at Wizkid, while some other persons are looking at Davido, because Davido, apart from the music thing, he came from a billionaire's family, and he's also a board member or a director in his father's company, Pacific Holdings, that worth over $1 billion. So that is an automatic ticket for Davido to say, I'm one of the richest outside music. After all, the richest musician in Africa is a person of Indo, and this guy has not earned that from music. Rather, he earned it from other parts of his life, from politics, real estate, and other businesses. That is something you need to understand. If we are talking about the biggest earner, Burna Boy is the biggest earner. But if we are talking about the rich, a lot of factors needs to be considered. That is something I got to understand about all of this. Chidimma is now in Nigeria and is representing Taraba in the Miss Nigeria competition, and voting has started already. A lot of people are now, supporting her at a time like this and saying that yes, Chidimma deserves to win at a time like this. Do you think Chidimma will be winning this in Nigeria? But I believe that Chidimma has what it takes to actually win this competition. That is something I believe. Remember that she was rejected in South Africa after making it to the finals, and a lot of people were like, Chidimma is not South African. Chidimma has another different background from another different culture. So they sponsored a petition against Chidimma, and they decided to, took out something like an allegation against Chidimma. At the end of the day, she was really withdrawn from that. And now she has come down to Nigeria to represent Taraba State, and she is in the race fully, and she is contestant number 25. You have to vote for her at a time like this. South Africans are now coming out to say they own Chidimma and all these kind of things. You guys rejected something and the person became somebody else. Some people decided to say, you know what, we love you, come in. And then you want to take her back so that you keep punishing her. Man, that is not it at all. South Africans, you guys, you have basic problems. I think you need to fix yourself. That is something I believe about that. Imagine a boss and his boy looking up to one person. That is something I got to understand from the story of Olamide and Ashake. These guys, they've actually spoken about the influence of Wizkid in their career. I want you guys to listen to this conversation at a time like this. Let's catch a glimpse.
Myself and Wiz had this smooth relationship going on because Banky and a couple of other people in the industry were really supporting Wiz big time, and I had admiration with him, so that gave me a little bit edge as well, so it made things a bit easier.
Nigeria, I look up to Wizkid. Yeah, just Wizkid. Ayo Balu, Baba do.
What can you make out of this? I want you to put that in the comment section, because a lot of people are really making their own take on this, and it's all getting interesting at the end of the day. Let's speak about Rema for a while. The uncle of Rema reached out to me and said, you know what, I've been trying to reach Rema, reach his mom, and then a lot of others within the family, but I have been blocked out and I don't know how to do that. I want to come out on platforms and really have a say or have a kind of interview talking about Rema. Maybe it will get to them and all those kind of things. But I decided to grant an interview. And ever since I did that, a lot of people have been saying some kind of things without watching the full clip of that interview. The part one of the interview is all out on my YouTube channel, and you can get a glimpse of it and get to understand what this man said about Rema and Rema's mom and his family to an extent. He's been trying to reach them so that they can really forgive each other, but to no avail. And then I asked certain questions. I got to understand a lot of things. He raised some valid points, and I got to really share it with you guys. But to an extent, I feel that Rema needs to honor his father, even at death. That is something I believe, because if Rema's father was to be alive, these things won't be happening right now. That is something I believe about this whole story that is trending out on social media. And some people have been coming at me saying a lot of things, coming at the man saying a lot of things. But you need to watch the interview first before, making your own comment about all of this. The man raised a point that, Rema is not from, Benin. Although Rema grew up in Benin, his father was buried, or his father is from Onuyi Igbanke, and that he was buried at that Onuyi Igbanke. And ever since his father was buried there, Rema has not come to that place. His mom has not come to that place to at least from time to time pay a kind of condolence or honor to his late father. And that is really a concern. And he spoke about the place his father was buried not being kept to an extent. I think Rema will do well by honoring his father to an extent. Apart from, getting angry at your uncles and the rest, are you still angry at your father? That is the thing you have to put in your mind. Because I watched a video recently, Don Jazzy and his brothers and sister, they came out to honor their mom to an extent. And that is a better way to do things. That is great to an extent. And that is what I want for Rema. And it should not be brainwashed to not doing that, because you can access some kind of spiritual blessings from doing that. You have to honor your father. Your father is just like God for you on earth. It's a responsibility that God gave to them. Even at death, you have to honor them to an extent. A lot of people have been coming out to say, if not be the one way Rema get money, whether a uncle for here. But you need to understand that whether you like it or not, Rema needs to forgive the uncles for anything, and the uncles need to forgive Rema or Rema's mother for anything, because when you forgive somebody, you are actually doing it for yourself, for your health. Let's listen to Aproko Doctor so that we get to understand this.
If you like, don't forgive, oh.
I beg.
No, don't forgive. Continue holding the anger to your chest because you are the I am Matanga of the universe. The person that does not forgive. How can he do something like that to me? I can never forgive him. Hold it. I'm sure here to tell you, as the emperor that I is, messenger.
That is why I am here.
I'm sure here to tell you, as the messenger that I is, that chronic anger can put your body in flight or fight mode.
Jesus!
And when you continue like that, it can affect your heart rate, it can affect your blood pressure, and even change your immune response. Now, over time, when it continues like this, you are still holding the anger because it's close to your chest, you can be at risk of depression, you can be at risk of heart disease, you can be at risk of diabetes, you can even be at risk of obesity.
Apostle, we hear of this.
Meanwhile, when you forgive and let go, it puts all those hormones at calmness and then reduces your risk of disease. So choose. Can you let the person that annoy you to keep putting your body at risk, or can you choose to let go?
I guess you understand it now that forgiveness is not for the person you are forgiving, it's for you to actually stay healthy. And to an extent, I feel that Rema needs to actually preserve the legacy of Ikubo, because his dad will be smiling down from heaven when he does that. He don't need to listen to people that will distract him from this singular act. That is something I got to understand. And God has blessed you to actually stay as a blessing to others, to stay as a blessing to your family, to your father's family, to preserve your father's legacy. And if you are watching this, I believe that your heart will be touched someday. That is what I believe. To an extent, many people does not know that. I got interested in the story of Rema. The day I listened to Rema, maybe I got to understand that this guy, it is Ego, where he come from. And then I started digging deep. I understood that he came from Edo State, he came from Igbanke. So I'm from the same village to an extent. Saying that Rema does not need to come back home, that is actually wrong to an extent. That is wrong. When the time will reach, for example, you want contest as a governor, you want contest as a local government chairman or anything, you want come out as a senator, they will remind you of where your father came from. And then it may be too late for you to come out. Apart from politics, it still got some other things that you may want to involve yourself, that they will remind you where your papa come from self, so that you not go explain tire. And also to access the spiritual blessing from his father, he needs to honor his father as dead, and also kind of preserve the legacies of Ikubo to an extent. You can do that from a distance. That is something I got to understand about the whole story.